All right, so Wes Craven has made a bunch of made-for-TV films. This is his third. I think there's only one left. And this is by far and away the worst film that we've watched of his. This makes, Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, which neither of us liked all that much. This makes those look like masterpieces.
Oh, 100%.
This movie's dreadful.
It's
like,
so bad.
The thing is like, okay, and I did get this in some dollar DVD at Walmart like 15 years ago, and I was like, oh, it's Wes Craven. Like, I'll watch it one day because I'm a completist, and here we finally are. And it's on like Roku TV, and it's on like Pluto, and there's just limitless ads. And sitting through this movie on its own is horrible enough, and sitting through like 5 minutes of freaking ads every 10 minutes. It's 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes of ads every 10 minutes on Pluto.
Yeah.
It's craziness.
It's so insane.
And the quality is the same as this, which is like some VHS rip. That's the worst quality, the worst audio.
It's dreadful.
The audio, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's the picture or the audio. They are in major contention, though. They're both
just so bad.
Anything above like a certain decibel level just starts to completely pop and like, it's awful. You're like, what? I didn't understand half the dialogue.
No, neither did I. I was like, what are they saying? What's happening?
But I also didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, this has Paul Sorvino in it. It also has Swan from The Warriors, not from Phantom of the Paradise. Not to be confused with that Swan. It also has Jill Schoelen in it, which is cool to see. Because she had a pretty decent career, you know, from Stepfather to Babes in Toyland and freaking she had a cool little career there for a minute. This is not her highlight. So what this movie's about, the opening of this movie is so boring. Everything about this movie is so boring, but there's just like this security guard at this cryogenics lab where they freeze bodies, you know, Walt Disney style.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a true thing or not. That's like maybe an urban legend.
Yeah.
Does Walt Disney actually have his head frozen?
I don't know.
That's one of those things we all know, but is it, you know, Richard Gere with a gerbil up his ass kind of thing? Right. It's like, did that actually happen? I don't fucking know. But he's some security guard. One of the tanks something's happening. So the guy like walks around. And he walks around. And he walks around. I could do that like 17 more times. And I wouldn't even begin to start to like showing you how boring and redundant. And it's unbelievable how fucking long this scene goes on. You're like, what? It took us 3 watches to watch this film. We watched it in 30-minute clips each, and every one of them felt like a feature-length film.
They did.
I was just like, oh my God, I can't take any more of this film. Now, even if this film was completely cleaned up, 4K freaking video and freaking 7.1 Dolby surround audio, it still would just be boring.
It really would.
It would maybe make the film 0.1% better because at least I'd be able to hear it, but I don't care.
No,
right?
Neither do I.
So it kind of has... It kind of has the flavor of a couple different films, right? Like anytime somebody comes back from the dead and they're soulless, right? I've seen this. I'm not going to name movies because there are some of the movies that would kind of be spoilery because it's not revealed to the end that something like that happened. But regardless, I'm more specifically thinking of one film in particular, but I don't want to say it in case you guys ever watch it. But yeah, just that like the guy who comes back and he didn't bring his soul with him, Pet Sematary style, if you will. But now it's in the form of cryogenic freezing, and he's dead for 10 years. His tank ruptures or whatever, but now they have the ability to heal whatever was wrong with him when he died. And his mom put him in there unbeknownst to anybody else in her life. And she is some bigwig, who owns this Fortune 500 type company, and he comes back from the dead almost like Bruce Wayne does in Batman Begins, where he comes back and he takes over Wayne Enterprises. Same thing, he takes over as the CEO, and when he comes back in, he's just he's all business, no heart, doesn't give a shit, cutthroat as fuck, makes this girl like screw him for a promotion and then like beats her for fun, drags his fucking friend down the road because he's trying to expose him. Like, he just has no soul. It sounds interesting. It isn't.
It isn't.
It is. It's the execution.
Yeah.
Right. It's just so, it drags and every character is so boring, and it just takes forever to go anywhere. And you're just like, oh God, let's go, come on. But we did find one of the tropes of Craven movies here. The dog always knows.
Always.
It's always.
Yes.
When he comes, the dog that, was alive when he was alive 10 years ago is still alive. And they're like, oh, aren't you excited to see him? Yeah, he's
the
just
dog is like, no.
No.
I don't want that demon.
He can tell.
Yeah.
His mom is played by the woman who plays Dr. Lesh in Poltergeist, the main woman who comes in with her crew to investigate the poltergeist. And he's hitting on his like stepsister, I guess, which is like really hot on Pornhub, but not in this movie, right?
Not at all.
No, I couldn't really get I know it's not her daughter, but I think she's adopted. We couldn't hear half the dialogue.
Yeah,
she was living there, so I think she was adopted.
I don't know,
but she ain't blood.
She's not.
So you know what that means.
What that means.
That means that she wants nothing to do with him.
100%.
And screams for help when he's pushing himself on her.
Yeah.
And then, I made that Miles joke, and I was going to try to make it again here. And I'm just not going to bother. I'm not going to bother. I ripped it off from Mystery Science Theater 3000 anyways. How much Keith is in this movie anyways? Miles O'Keefe. We got to show you that movie. Cave Dwellers. Watch it. And let's see. Yeah. The whole like ending of the movie of like, you turn to science the first time, now turn to God. There's definitely this message in this movie that very much plays on like religious beliefs, and how, I guess it's really just that theme of like, you can't play God.
Yeah.
That the only person who's God is God.
Yeah.
And in the end, the doctors who originally saved him could have the opportunity once again to make that same mistake. And for a second, I thought that it was going to be like history repeating itself, and she wasn't going to learn from her mistakes, and she was going to try to save her friend now, because she killed her son. She shot him, and the only cool thing in the movie was the eyes, right?
Yes, that was the only cool thing.
Like when the main dude, the villain of the movie, when he wakes up, he has these like silver eyes or something, really dead silver kind of thing. But the end of the movie, you just kind of get this line from the doctor who could do that thing or put him in, because he's like, oh, we don't have the means to save him, basically now. And is there anything? She's doing the same thing again. She isn't learning from her mistakes.
No, not at all.
And he turns around, he's like, there is something we can do. And you're like, oh, here we go again. And he's like, you could pray.
Yeah, and she's like,
so
you're right, I can pray.
Yeah, and I don't think that worked.
No.
I think her prayers, I mean, at least, she did get her son back. It was a demon hellspawn son. But she prayed to the devil, which is science.
Yeah,
right?
The devil is
the devil's work, damn science. It's freaking those fundamentalists are right. The ones that like don't let their kids get medical treatment and die.
Oh God.
Because that's just like intervening.
The devil wants them to die.
No,
or wants
God.
them to live, I mean.
God wants them to die.
God wants them to die, but the devil wants them to live.
Yeah. Those people should be shot. But yeah. And then we get, for some reason, I do not know what to make of this ending, nor do I care.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what was happening.
That happens. And then he's like, oh, you can pray. And she's like, oh, okay, I forgot about God. And then it cuts to the lab again where he was frozen, and all the tanks start to rupture at the same time. And the security guard's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And then I don't know what this was. I don't know if this was like
they're all coming
God
back?
intervening because she prayed, and like God was like, "Oh shit, I kind of fell asleep on the watch." Like,
shut that down.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't allowed to come back from the dead.
right.
I don't know. Or they were like all somehow being revived. I don't know why I thought that. I guess
I thought that too. I thought that too.
It doesn't make sense because they're all dead and or some of them are like ill though, right? Some of them are just like frozen.
Well,
I don't
sure.
care.
I mean, the thing is like he gets brought back because he's waited long enough to where they have the ability to cure what's wrong with him, right? Like that's why people freeze themselves, supposedly, is that they're dying from something that isn't curable now.
But
and
he
that
was
they're
already
going to be
dead.
thawed out. And no, he has an illness.
Then I don't understand. Why does he not have a soul?
Because he was dead.
Yeah.
When you're in that animated state, they kill you, right?
Oh,
you stop
I
your
see.
heart.
Yeah.
But they freeze you so that your brain and
see.
stuff don't deteriorate. And then when they bring you back, they can start your heart.
I thought he was
and
like
you don't have
dead
like
already.
brain dead. No, not that I'm aware of. I think he gets injured. So sick, I think, is the wrong terminology here.
Yeah.
He gets an injury that's killing him, and so she freezes him and wants him to be fixed. So I don't know what technology they had in the like mid 80s that they didn't have in the mid 70s.
Right.
I don't think modern medicine advanced that much where they could cure some kind of devastating injury.
Yeah.
But whatever, who cares? In the end, I think they're just hinting at like this place had a malfunction before. This now, whatever faulty malfunction was in that, the Russian government covered up so that it wouldn't happen again, or that it could definitely happen again. I'm talking about Chernobyl. This is a totally failed joke.
Russians.
Yes, because the Russians wanted to cover up the fact that they used a cheaper material on the tips of the rods on the failsafe. You watched Chernobyl.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Same thing here, okay, but on a much smaller scale. And this company doesn't admit it to fault that they have anything wrong with their machines, and all of them fail at the same time for some reason. And now all of these guys are going to be soulless, right? They're all going to come out. The doctor's going to fix all of them, supposedly, even though it's like a miracle he survives. I don't know. The ending's just kind of like there's going to be all these other soulless creatures. It's like Michael Myers times 10, right? Whatever happened to Myers in the movie, he gets shot, and then 10 more of him are brought into the world right after that. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the ending they're going for. Is like, you got this boogeyman, and now there's 10 more to come.
Carpenter's like, why are you using my copywritten material character?
I don't think that's what happened.
No?
No, he didn't watch this.
No.
And this has literally nothing to do with it. It's a bad example, and we're done.
All right.
The movie's horrible.
It's bad. Don't watch it.
It's just boring. That's what it is. It's just a boring movie. The premise is fine, right? The whole thing is just kind of there. It's Wes Craven's fault, I guess, because he did Invitation to Hell, and he did freaking Summer of Fear before this, years before this.
Yeah,
and both are super fun.
Yeah.
Both are totally memorable.
Yeah.
And made for TV, and probably have similar budgets.
Yeah.
And this is some like late night like network drama that they put on, like some soap opera drama that they put on late night.
Yeah. In
the like 80s. They made a decent amount of those. And this is, I just can't believe Wes Craven directed this.
No.
It's easily the worst thing he's ever done. For sure. So, that's that. Anyways, longer than we expected, but because we sat through it.
You wanted
I
to
wanted to give it its
good,
attention. I wanted something out of this.
I understand.
Right? Because we're not going to just sit through that whole thing and then be like,
nothing.
it sucked, turn it off. That would be a total waste of our time. But we watched it. We sat through it for you guys.
Not to watch it though.
100%. We only sat through this film for the channel, and only about 20 people are going to watch this video. So you 20 though are totally worth it. All right, bye guys.
Bye.